Okay, so what I'm going to do today regarding this video of fungi, I'm not going to make it that long. I'm going to do the identification after. And so I'm going to show you guys, because some of you enjoy this also. So I'll show you what I've got, and then, you know, suggestions in the comments, and then we'll see what we're dealing with. Now, I found some remarkably beautiful wood blewits, and a lot of them. And here we have, which is a real classic wood blewit, very dark on the top, very lilac, mauve in the gill, very mauve, lilac-y on the stipe. These were growing beneath a pine tree. And here we have the field blewits. Now, the difference in colour and the difference in the gill colour, but there's no difference in the variety of gill, and there's no difference in the variety of mushroom, a very heavy, dense mushroom. Now, these have a very, very slight tinge of mauve on the stipe, which is pretty classic to the field blewit. The wood blewit is a much more exciting creature altogether. Now, I'll bring you down here just to talk about a few things. So we have all of these beautiful, shiny, glossy wood blewits, and I'm going to eat those. That one isn't that mauve under the gill, it's going over. You see it's getting a little bit brown. I'll pass on that one won't be so great. Here, these field blewits, almost gone over, the rest of them were gone over, and there's still ice on the top of this, and it's been in my bag for a good half an hour. And so we turn that one over, and again you've got the beautiful gills, beautiful closed narrow gills, and we have just the faintest of mauve on the stipe there, and a very heavy dense mushroom. So just as a comparison, I like to look at these two mushrooms. So from the top we have such a colour contrast, we have a very deep contrast on the gill. One is absolutely visibly mauve and the other one is cream. And so that's those. Now over here I just picked these because they're interesting. They're out of the ground for whatever reason. There's a lot of squirrels around, and I think whenever I find mushrooms that have been messed around with and tipped over and pulled out of the ground, it's a result of squirrels. Now, because this well, you see, the thing is about these mushrooms, they're not an amanita, but they're very close on amanita with the vulva. Except they don't have a membrane over them, but very bulbous. And so I picked both of those because they look like bloody onions. Then I have a regular field mushroom, and I think it's maybe a campista. It's the one that I'm pretty sure blushes pink when you cut it, and I found this one under a fir tree. Very dry. I've often found these and they're very, very dry. So what I'm going to do with that one, I'm just going to cut it just to satisfy myself that I think it's one of these that blushes red. What have we got so far? Very sweet. Mushroomy aniseedy. And we've got a blushing of orange, which wasn't to be expected. I was expecting it to be pink. I don't know why it's gone orange, whether you guys can advise me on that. But now I shall cut it down the centre and see what happens with the flesh there. But a very healthy mushroomy smell, and we can see that we've got some blushing, more orange than pink. Usually the pink. What do we say about that, guys? I didn't know there was one of these that blushes orange. And so I'll have to investigate that. Then there's these, and I think off the top of my head it's a charcoal burner. From what I can see, and we can see this one here is the classic fat stipe, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be very, very brittle, and so I'm going to break that one. Yeah, very brittle and pretty dry, and so that may tell you something. They are broad in the gill, and they're what's called different lengths. A gill which is different lengths, and they're slightly touching the stipe. Is that called adnext or adnate? Just touching the stipe. Now then. Yeah, this one's the same. Just a little fraction that's very, very remotely decurrent. It is interesting. And we get in the right light. They've got that charcoal burner thing going on with the colour. This one's seen better days. I'm going to cut that one on the stipe. Just very brittle. So what is this? Is this Russula? Is it Russula family? Is it Russula? Is it charcoal burner Russula? Look, like a brittle gill. Pretty brittle there, and they're dry, you see. Look how flaky they are. So any of you guys that know anything about fungi will know what that is straight away. Oh, this one, okay, I'm happy with that one now. It's blushed pink eventually. And so, is that what's called a campista, is it? Or something like that? Edible mushroom in any case. So edible, 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 edible. Not sure about those. Now this one's an interesting little find. And you find these, I've found them before just on grass, and you know, they're a very decurrent little thing, and they've proper gone into that chalice type thing. Different length gills and broad. Decurrent on the top, very white. I seem to remember that these are inedible, but of course I've got to check that. Then these, no idea what these are. See if you can enlighten me. Different length gills. Just touching the stipe. See what this one smells like. a little bit like damp grass. Yeah, nothing offensive, a little bit like damp grass. Then we have this variety here, and we can see that again I'm finding lots of different length mushrooms today. I don't know whether that's anything to do with the time of year, and this is the variety of colour that we've got going on. So a pointed mushroom, and we'll smell this one. Hardly of anything, just going to break them up. Okay, so this one doesn't really want to break. Nothing. And then there is this one here, and you know, found in a very similar sort of place, but I'm not jumping to any conclusions. I don't think they're the same variety. They are darker on the gill, and these are actually more broader in the gill, and so I think they're a very different mushroom. And they grow like this sort of like, you usually get this sort of shape and colour in much smaller mushrooms. And this one is interesting. Again, it's a different length gill mushroom, slightly interned on the cap there, and it's got that creepy look about it. They look a creepy mushroom. You know, you wouldn't want to be eating these creepy things. And so where did that one come from? Was that one over there? Now this one, let's have a look at the gills on this one. There's a comparison. Again, different length gills. This one's not touching the stipe at all. So we're going to see if this one is actually touching the stipe. No. And there is an actual gap down there. Here again. And it's got the old witch's hat thing going on. And so we have that variety. Now what do these smell like? What do they crumble like? Squidgy, they don't want to crumble. It's just so full of water. Doesn't smell of anything. A lot of water in there. Let me see what this one. I've done this one, haven't I? Yeah, just rubbery, but not anything like as watery. And then these. Did I do those? Yeah, I did those, didn't I? I've done those. These ones. So I've got this one here. The current and the gill, very broad, different lengths again. All these different lengths. Curious. Let's have a look at this one now then. See, that one's a different one, this one's a different one as well. And I think I've only got one of those, because this one is very different. Now this one, coloration wise, looks very much like one of these. Stipe wise it's the same. I think it's just a little bit older. But yeah, gills are broad, adnate here, different lengths gills. Stipe is the same, yeah, so I'm pretty well convinced that's the same, but I'm not sure whether they are chalk or burners, because I always considered that these Russula had stalks like this, pretty robust, and this one's hollow, and the Russula are more brittle, aren't they? they snap like a piece of chalk. So be interesting to hear what you guys think of that one. That one I'm very happy with now. It's gone the proper colour. And so there we have it. The only other thing going on was my Jew's ear mushrooms. In the old books you'll see Jew's ear, but if you go on YouTube you won't see anybody speaking, uttering the word Jew, of course. No, you can't say Jew anymore. Don't get saying Jew. That's not allowed. You can say English, you can say Scottish, you can say German, you can say Pakistani, you can't say Jew. You know who's ruling the world when you can't say Jew, don't you? Anyway, so I've got these. They call them now wood ears. And, you know, I was wondering why they called them the Jew's ear. And it seems to me that it was because, well, we know they're always listening to us. And so whoever coined this name, however long ago, they knew too that the Jews are always listening. You know, got big flapping ears, haven't they? Come on. And so, very, very hairy on the top, smooth in the underside, growing, facing down on a tree, which is very important, facing down, and growing on, they grow on quite a lot of trees apparently, but I don't know whether this one was an alder or an elderberry. Probably an elderberry, looking by the bark. And so I'm going to, you know, look at this, an ear. So it's not too bad, is it? You know, ear-shaped things. So they're kind of like. So I'm going to eat those tonight with a pizza, and I'm going to cook them in a bit of ginger and chili. Got a little baby Jew's ear there. Look at that little baby. Even the baby ones can keep an eye on you, you know. Yes. Even the baby Jew's ear. They can hear a lot of shit. So you best be minding your P's and Q's, you know. So, another wonderful day's foraging. Absolutely beautiful. So I'll tidy up shop. And I'll look for those, these and those in my book and see what's going down. Catch you later, dudes.